So here we are, we're about 2 months into the school season, and this is about the time where we've discovered what works and what doesn't work. And for some of you, it may be the season where it's realizing that there's some things that aren't working. So let's do a little bit of chatting about that, and so maybe I can give you some help or some ideas on how to be able to turn things around or change things up so that you can actually move forward and feel successful with your school year. So let's start with that today. The first thing is if you're just having a couple of bad days here and there, or if today's like a crappy day and things are just not working and it's fighting, all that kind of stuff. So let's talk about that first. Hopefully I won't sneeze. So the first thing I wanted to say was if it's just like one-off bad day, just quit. Just give it up. That doesn't matter. The day isn't as important. The day worth of schoolwork isn't as important as your relationship with your child. So if your child isn't working today, and you know it's kind of an off thing, just go ahead, cancel the day, do something different instead. Give them a chance to do alternative learning other than the school plan. If you have a series of bad days, or you're noticing that your child is doing it more, you want to kind of pause for a minute and see what is causing these bad days to happen. Is it attitude? And if it's attitude, what is causing that attitude? So sometimes kids can fight and have bad days because they aren't liking math, or they're stuck with a particular concept, or they find something boring, or they'd rather be learning something else instead. So if this is your child and your experience and you're having a series of bad days, you can pause and get rid of the thing that's causing the stress, cut it out, see if that helps with your day. And then as things start to turn better and as you're having a little bit more fun, then you can go ahead and add that thing back in, or you can change it out for something else. Let me just see something here. I just wanted to grab my book because I did say some ideas. So although we want to have more good days than bad days, there are some things we can do when we're faced with a rough homeschooling day. It's worth taking a break to do something else instead. So you can read aloud, you can watch something cool and educational on TV, go cook and bake something, go for a walk, go reset your day and start again. Just snuggle, build that relationship instead. So if you're having a bad day or a bad little season, do that. Focus on your relationship with your child, cut out the things that are causing the stress, and just reset. Because it's okay to have bad days. Even as grown-ups, we have bad days. You ever woke up and you're just feeling grumpy, and no matter what you're doing in your day, it's not going to make anything work at all. But what if nothing is working? What if your curriculum is failing? What if every single day is a battle and you're just completely defeated and discouraged and nothing is working right? My first step recommendation is drop everything. Just drop it all. Shut it down. Cancel school for now because you have a really important job to do. Your job as a parent is to move from in the fray, in the trenches, to a 30,000 height, foot view and looking over everything and seeing how it is going. Taking an objective look at what is going on. Because if every single day is a battle and every single attempt you do to do learning is a battle, there's got to be a reason for it. So my first recommendation is to step back, get rid of all your expectations of what should be or what needs to be or what all that stuff, get rid of it. Now pause. Now take a look back to learning. What is triggering the problem? Is it that they're bored? Is it that they don't understand? Is it that the curriculum is too high of an expectation for where your child is at? Because as parents, sometimes we have slightly unrealistic ideas of what our kids can do. Is it that it's too easy and so your children aren't being challenged at all? You need to take I know that when you first start, you spend countless hours looking up curriculum ideas and coming up with plans. And it can feel really frustrating that you've done all this work and it's not working out, even though it felt like it was the right choice. But I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes even the best curriculum and even our best intentions is not going to work. So if this is what's happening, step back, take a look, think about what is causing the problem and how you can change that. Talk to your kids about what they like and what they don't like, or what they would like to see differently. One time when I was trying to, at that period of time where I was trying to rework our entire homeschool plan and how we were doing learning, I took my kids out one by one and I talked to them, the older kids anyways, the little ones were too little at the time, but I asked them, how would you like to learn? How do you think you learn best? And actually asking my kids' participation and getting their feedback on how they would like learning to be and how they would like to learn, how they learn best, and just their insight really provided me a lot of information about how I could change things to be more efficient for them. And I discovered that a lot of them were doing really good visual learners, and I was busy trying to do some other method of learning. And we were doing group learning at the time, and it wasn't working because they were frustrated having to wait for each other and the chaos and noise. They were able to give me feedback for that. So if you talk to your kids too, you may get a really good insight into what is causing the trouble. What is making it not work? If this is one of the things you're trying to do, talk to your kids. Take a look at what you're doing. Take a look at what you're doing and see if you can see what's causing the trouble. 2, take some time to talk to your kids. 3, reset everything. Okay. Now I will say that if you have been schooling up until now, and this is your first year of homeschooling, or you're trying to do the COVID schooling, so this is just a temporary solution, you may find that because you still have the mindset and your kids still have the experience of having been in school, that there is kind of this thought about what school should be like, and it's really hard at times to replicate that at home, because we don't have the same routines and time frames and groups of kids to work with and all that kind of stuff. So if it's not working, you need to kind of be willing to take some time to reset your mind. This is called deschooling. And actually experts, I'm not sure who specifically, but it's generally understood that if you take a child out of school, to expect to take about a month per grade they've been in school. So that means if your child's in grade 4, you should expect that about 4 months of no schooling at all will actually be a good thing to help reset their mind. Now, if you don't have time for that, or you really don't feel like that's good, what you can do is completely bring in some other kind of learning so that you're taking a break from the sit down and do the workbook or whatever isn't working for you, and do something different. So today I sent out an email to my list with some ideas on how to sneak learning and schooling into your days. If you look here in the Facebook live videos that I've done over the last few months, I did talk about sneak schooling at one point, but let me just give you a couple of ideas. For example, you can throw in a board game. Now, I know we think board game is just fun, but if you are actually paying attention, there is a lot of learning that happens within a board game. For example, Monopoly and the Game of Life, and you can even buy intentionally educational games that the kids don't realize are educational because they're just games. Things like Scrabble and Bananagrams, there's length, there's letters and spelling, and you can do any kind of game because a lot of them include educational concepts. For example, one really popular game in our house is poker. And I know that sounds really weird, and why would you get kids to do poker? But it's just for fun and silly. And honestly, it is a lot of math. They have to be able to understand probability and how they have to do quick math. And they have to figure out what the chances are for them to be able. There's a lot of math. It drives me crazy, and that's why I don't play very long. But it also teaches them strategy and that kind of thing. So think outside the box. So if the curriculum you're using for now, just enjoy opportunities to learn. Now there is tons. I think we have way more. We have so many educational resources that are available for us now that have never been before. So educational television is a wonderful tool. We have things, and my daughter is busy telling us about, oh man, what was she telling me all about yesterday? Oh, Mom, did you know that shooting stars aren't really stars because they're just meteors that are burning up in our atmosphere? Okay, she's 5. But where did she learn that? Storybots on Netflix. These are kinds of things that kids can pick up because they're engaged, interested, and they're vibrant and exciting. And they're wonderful ways for kids to learn without the concept of sitting and doing a lecture and a workbook and an activity. So it's all kinds of things that we can do. So the goal is to try and find creative ways to bring learning in that aren't going to provide us with that pressure and stress of whatever the curriculum or whatever resource that we're using that's not working. So try to find something different in the meantime while you're spending some time evaluating the resources that you have. Now, the other option is to see if you can find an alternative. So if the things that you're doing aren't working and you're taking some time to figure out what the problem is, and then you're going researching for an alternative option instead, whatever that is, you may be able to find a sample of it that you can give a quick test try with. A lot of publishers offer that because that will give you a better idea than spending a whole bunch of money on something that might not work. Now, I do want to warn you that if you choose to homeschool, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to end up with a bunch of homeschool curriculum on your shelf that you may never actually use. Homeschoolers are notoriously hoarders. And no matter our best intentions, they don't always work. So my challenge for you is, if you're having a rough time right now and the honeymoon has worn off and you're having a rough time, remember that relationship first, okay? Put yourself at 30,000 feet, give yourself days off, take a break, take an observation time to figure out what is the reason behind why it's not working. Spend some time asking and having conversations with your kids about what they would like to see education be like. Take some time to think of alternative learning options so that they can spend some time learning in sneak mode, where they just enjoy time with you, but you're sneaking in some learning as well. And then just to, think about what you can do instead, or what you can swap out and change, or if there's a way that you can take the resource that you are currently using and adapt it to work better for your child and your family. So the shelf of good intentions. Yes. And is it Kylie? I want to tell you, those are some great options too. Magic School Bus, Cribbage, and Yahtzee are fantastic resources and tools. So there is my suggestions for how to kind of chill right now. Now, if everything is failing, every single day is a scream fest, every single day is a fight, it's an argument, it is not working, first of all, deep breaths, because you know what? Parenting is hard. Homeschooling and parenting is harder, and that can be really stressful. So take a deep breath, and I want to tell you something that maybe not every homeschool parent will tell you, but school is an option, and it's okay if you choose to send your child to school, because it's going to benefit your relationship more than having them at home. Okay, so I want you to know that you have not failed if you need to send your child to school to save your relationship with your child. I want you to know that, okay? Now, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts about that, please feel free to leave them. I'm happy to chat about that, okay? Anything that you want to talk about, you know where to find me. Now, if you have any more questions, please just go ahead and ask, and I'll see if I can answer them today.